so a topic that has come up so much the last few years, the last few months, nationally, regionally, locally, personally, has been shopping discrimination. I have been to various different areas, residencies, and shops to go purchase things for myself, for family members, for my boyfriend, and just for friends. And I've noticed that depending on where I'm at, I'm treated very differently. Often the time, with everything that's been going on in the news, definitely the race card has been pulled. Here in New York City, it's one of those things that I have not really experienced too much, but it does come up. I work full time, I make my own money, I save. There are things that I can afford, there are things that I can afford because I saved my money. Now, I want to say about a year and a half ago, about a year ago, around this time, my boyfriend and I and our friends went shopping here in White Plains, and mind you, I'm Puerto Rican, my boyfriend is Puerto Rican, one of our friends, she's Puerto Rican and Italian, and her boyfriend is black. So we walked into one of the more high-end retailers, one of the high-end jewelry retailers, not going to name any specific companies because I love their product. But I noticed that when we walked in, I kind of saw something that I liked. I said, I looked at my friend, I was like, hey Amanda, I really like that. She's like, okay, let's see if we can try it on, see what's in the case. It was a pair of bow earrings, and I had never purchased anything from this particular retailer before, just because at that time I didn't, at that time I wasn't able to afford it in one shop. I had saved up some money. I wanted to buy myself a Christmas gift. And I asked the woman, hi, I would really like to look at this pair of earrings. And she just kind of gave me the look like, I can't help you. And it took a couple of minutes for me to process it. I thought maybe, okay, she was busy. I mean, there was not a lot of people in the store itself, but sometimes you can be busy with other things. I've worked in retail, I understand. So I asked again, a few minutes later, I asked, hi, I really like this pair of earrings. Do you mind? Can somebody show it to me? I just want to see it a little bit close up. Because when you buy jewelry, sometimes you have to touch it to see if you really like it. Is the quality there? The color, does it go with your skin tone? Different things like that. And the woman, again, just kind of gave me a hard time, and she looked at me, she looked at my boyfriend, and she looked at my friend's boyfriend. And I realized that she didn't want to help me because either A, she thought I couldn't afford it, or B, because my boyfriend and my friend's boyfriend looked like they were up to no good. Needless to say, about 2 minutes later, after being told, I think you would like something like this, and the pricing on the other piece of jewelry was dramatically lower, I told her, this isn't what I want. So I left. I walked over to where my friend was. So my friend Amanda goes, what's wrong? I was like, well, I really like that pair of earrings, but she wouldn't even let me look at the case. She showed me something else that was cheaper, but I wanted the bow earrings. And so Amanda went to a different section, and she was looking at a ring, and the woman immediately let her see it. She let her try it on, all these different things. And that time, the boys weren't with us. They had stepped outside, and at that point, I was just really upset at the fact that this woman judged me based off of who I was standing with. Now, we went into a different store, same level, same mall, and we were helped immediately. To kind of backtrack a little bit, the woman employee that was at the first retailer, she was Caucasian, she was white, and when we went into the other store, the employees there they were black. I don't know what their ethnicities were, but I was a lot more comfortable in that particular retailer. Mind you, their products really weren't something that I would want. I really wanted the pair of earrings that I saw in the previous retailer, but the customer service was a lot higher. And I think that it really does make a difference. We've heard that about the teenager, the young man who walked in, I believe, to Barney's about 2 years ago to make a purchase, and security and the cashier thought that he used a fake credit card, that he stole someone's credit card to pay for the products. And it took some time for them to realize and to actually find out and to solidify and prove that it was indeed his money, his debit card, his identity, everything. And I think it's definitely something to keep an eye on, because it doesn't just happen here. There are times when I go to other areas and people think all the time that I'm white, that I'm Italian. The other day someone asked me if I was mixed black and Spanish, and I was like, no, I'm definitely full Hispanic. But depending on where you are, your treatment changes. And being in my field, being in my industry of PR and communications, I tend to observe certain things, especially with customer service. Like I said, I've worked in retail. I know what it's like. And I think retailers don't really think about it. We've heard about the CEO, Mr. Jeffries, of Abercrombie & Fitch, and his discrimination against his employees. And I haven't heard too much about as far as like clientele, but I personally just don't go into Abercrombie because their clothes don't fit me. And I've just noticed that the environment's very different. And recently he stepped down from being CEO, and that's definitely a huge change for Abercrombie and how they treat their employees. So I really do hope that internally, from a corporate communication level, that they expand and they improve their company, because I think Abercrombie itself is a great company, but it's just the way that they are developed. I think there was kind of like that toxicity there, and I think that holds true for a lot of retailers, that they may have a fabulous product, but if you don't have a staff, if you don't have an employee base that is willing to accept the different demographics in that area, it's certainly challenging. For instance, I went into Armani about 2 years ago, and I didn't have any problems. I personally just don't go into Armani because, again, I didn't think they sold clothes in my size. Needless to say, the gentleman that helped me was like, no, we do carry certain things in a 12 and a 14. Sometimes a 16, it just varies on material, availability, location. What we have here in New York is different from what we may have in California, from what we have in Georgia. It varies. And I didn't have any problems there. And so I've noticed that when I go into the city, I don't have any issues either. But for some reason, being an undergrad student here in White Plains, going into the retailer that I went into, I was definitely treated very different in that retailer. I've also been into other department stores, and I don't tend to go into the more high-end department stores just because it doesn't fit into my taste. It's not that I can't afford it, because I can, but it's that it's not something I'd wear. It's not something I'd wear. If I wanted something from Coach, I'll go to the Coach store. And even then, I've never had any issues. Of course, I've had people ask me, like, hey, do you need help? Multiple times. But again, I've worked in retail. I know this, but they have to do. You could be the only person in the store. But at the end of the day, you're a customer, they're an employee, they work for the company, and they're trying to do what's in the best interest. But on the counteract to that, the best interest is also giving each client not only the customer service that they deserve, but the respect and the acknowledgement. I think that if the woman from the jewelry retailer that I had been to had been a little bit more, I don't even know how to describe it, if she had just been a little bit more realistic, more soft in her approach, she probably would have made a sale. And the only reason why I know that she probably needed a sale is because that particular store doesn't get, we went in the evening, so there wasn't a lot of people in the mall in general, but she lost 4 customers that day. Me, my friend, my boyfriend, and our friend's boyfriend. 4 people that were Christmas shopping that could have afforded that, you know, we could have purchased. I could have purchased a $300 watch. I could have purchased that $250 pair of earrings, which I was willing to pay for because I wanted them. But because I was told, I think you'd like this, and I was shown something significantly lower in price, I definitely don't think they realize that that impacts your image, your reputation as a company. And in my research that I've done for my graduate studies, I found that this particular retailer has had a lawsuit against them from an inside employee. And I just thought that was really interesting. And I definitely want to go into that same retailer, but into a different location, just to see what will happen. You know, I mean, we've seen in the movie Breakfast at Tiffany's with Audrey Hepburn that they kind of look at her kind of funny. I mean, she definitely dressed the part. She always went into Tiffany & Co. Look, she went, you know, and I can go into any other retailer. I can go into the simplest K Jewelers or Zales, but I can also go to Tiffany's. I can also go to Gucci, Bloomingdale's. I can go to Fossil, Michael Kors, any of these retailers that sell jewelry, accessories, and somewhere in that loop, I will be treated very differently than I will be at another store. Also, working in retail, I've also noticed that employment-wise, it can get a little tricky. A friend of mine and I were in Staten Island, and we had gone into the mall. It was, I want to say, the summer going into our sophomore year, and we were both looking for jobs. And with that, we went into the same store, and I did this on purpose. She went into a certain store about 5 minutes before I did. I circled around the store, shopped around, knowing that I couldn't find clothes in that store. And one of the employees was very helpful. She was like, you know, we'll make it work, we'll find something. So I was like, okay, not a problem. We get to the register. My friend had already asked for an application. They told her they weren't hiring. I want to say in the time that she walked out of the store to the time I checked out, I asked, you know, by chance, do you happen to be hiring? Are you guys looking for seasonal help? Yada, yada, yada. And I was told, yeah, sure, here's an application. Walked out. I was like, okay, no, thank you. Walked out the store, and I asked my friend, I'm like, she asked, you know, for an application, and told her no. I asked the same thing, and they told me, here's an application, bring it back, speak to the manager. And I thought that was also really interesting that they kind of told her no, but they kind of told me, yes, we're hiring. But again, being in retail, and I've noticed this from observing even before working in retail, retailers tend to hire individuals who can wear that clothing. Like, they can be a brand ambassador. And it hurts because there's so many people that are willing to shop in these stores. There's a particular retailer that I don't shop there. I buy my accessories from there, maybe my shoes, but I will not buy clothes there because their sizing options and their textiles and design don't match their regular sizes. And I just don't think it's fair. So being able to go into a store, I used to work for Rue 21, and we now have plus sizes, and it's probably the best thing I've ever seen. And a lot of the clothing matches, not maybe exactly what we sell in our regular sizing, but it's definitely close to it. There's definitely options. It's definitely fitting our demographic or clientele, and it's cost effective. It's affordable for anybody. And I just think that's something that a lot of retailers don't realize, that sometimes you can be the 1X or the 2X or the 3X, and you want something that girl in the medium is wearing. Same thing with men. If someone is a 3X, they should be able to wear the same polo from Ralph Lauren, but in a 3X. And I think that a lot of places don't realize how their employees treat their clients. They don't realize the impact their sales, like what you give is what you get. If you give excellent customer service, you will more than likely make a sale. But if you don't do that, you're probably going to lose a sale, and I'm pretty sure it was a really good sale. I mean, I've learned that. I've worked retail since I was 16. I'm 22 now. I know the ins and the outs, but I also know the flip side of being the employer and having to sit there and say no. Again, working for Rue 21, we don't discriminate at all against image, race, gender. I mean, we have a variety of different employees, and it's probably the most wonderful company I've ever worked for. Same thing when I worked for a shoe retailer when I was in high school. And being able to go into a more high-end, high-scale mall, upper-class mall, and having to go through what I went through makes me realize that not everybody cares. They say, oh, this is our brand, this is our identity, and this is who we want to serve. That's great. But are you still going to have that clientele in 5 years? If I go into Zales and you sell me a certain ring today, and then my boyfriend, who may be 3 shades darker than me, goes in to look for the same ring, are you going to sell it to them? Probably not, depending on where you are. And I think that's something that it happens. It happens all the time. No one realizes it. No one pays attention. So it's really important to observe. And me personally, I'm probably going to get a lot of flack. But I will call out a company. If I'm sitting there, I'll call out like, okay, you'll help them, but you won't help me. That's very unfair. And they tend to not experience that often. So when you point it out, it makes sense. And then you end up getting what you want. It's all about being able to serve the client and do better for your company, because the more you push away a client, the less your retention is going to be. So if you're like me, you've probably dealt with going shopping and not having the best customer service. Well, about a year ago, around this time, I was Christmas shopping with my boyfriend and his friend and his friend's girlfriend, which is one of my friends too. And we went to one of the more high-end, upscale retailers here in White Plains, and we were shopping for presents. Just, me and Amanda, my boyfriend's friend's girlfriend. She and I went in with the boys, and I spotted a pair of earrings that I really wanted. They were gold bows. They were absolutely adorable. They matched my tattoo. Like, I was just like, I have to have them. I want them. And at that point, I had saved up enough money to buy them. I felt that I was working. I saved up some money. I'm going to splurge a little bit. So I asked the woman that was working there. I was like, hi, I'm really interested in these earrings. Can you show them to me? Because there's definitely a difference between looking at earrings or a ring or a necklace in a case versus holding it in your hand, seeing if it actually goes with your skin tone. Me personally, I don't really wear gold, but this pair of earrings I really wanted to try. And she kind of like gave me the look that she didn't have time to help me. So I was like, alright, so whatever. I waited a few minutes and I went back and I asked her again. I was like, do you mind showing me these earrings? I really want to purchase them. Like, I just want to see what they look like before I purchase them. So I don't want to purchase something and then you not take them back for a refund. And she was like, well, let's try these. The pair of earrings that the woman showed me were dramatically less than the earrings that I picked out, which kind of upset me because it made me feel like, well, maybe, at first I was like, okay, well, maybe she thinks that they look better. And then that's when I noticed the price tag and I was like, no. I was like, well, no, I really wanted the other one. She was like, well, I think you'd like these more. I'm like, well, I want the other ones. I'm paying for them. I should be able to buy what I want to buy. And she was just very unprofessional, very unhelpful. She was not helpful at all. And Amanda had asked for something similar. And immediately they let her see it. And I kind of sat there and I kind of noticed something. My boyfriend was standing with me when I was looking at the earrings. Her boyfriend was on the other side of the store. My boyfriend is Hispanic and he is kind of has like a tan, olive-y complexion, but a little bit lighter. And Amanda's boyfriend is black. Now, her boyfriend was on the other side of the store, and I mean, they didn't really say anything to him. They didn't say anything to her. They showed her immediately what she wanted to try out. And that really upset me. And I thought about it, and I definitely sat there and said, I'm being discriminated against because I want to buy something and you don't think I can purchase it. And that's exactly what it was. Went to a different retailer, same mall, same location, same city, and immediately the employees were like, hi, do you guys need any help? Okay, what size do you need? You want to try it on? Very helpful, and that's the story that got our business. Not only did the first retailer lose, my business, but lost 3 other people. And my friend who was helped even told them, she's like, my friend asked to look at something and you refused to show her. That's definitely, that's not okay. That's discrimination. I'm going to take my business somewhere else. And that's exactly what happened. Unfortunately, I really like that retailer. They have a lot of really great pieces, but this location in particular, I probably will never go back to just because of how I was treated. And that's not the first time that something like that's happened in that store. A couple of years ago, a friend of mine and she went to go kind of exchange something. Her boyfriend and her boyfriend had broken up, and he had bought her a piece of jewelry, and she didn't want it. So she went in, and she and I are the same complexion, same everything, same ethnicity, everything. We went in looking the same. We were both in jeans, Uggs, and a nice sweater. In the North Face, it was winter, and the woman that was there immediately helped her to like, okay, well, you don't have a price tag, but this is what this product costs. And they let her exchange it, not a problem. So I really just kind of sat there. I was like, wow, because of the way I'm dressed or the way I look, you're not going to help me. You think I can't afford something, but I really can. And that holds true for a lot of retailers. I've been into retailers that they follow me around the entire time, think I'm going to take something. When I was in Prague, I was in a gift shop, and immediately, this is summer, I didn't want to use my hair straightener because the converter shorted out the wiring in my straightener. So I had my hair curly. I just came back from Croatia, so I was dark. I was dramatically dark at that point, and the girl I had gone to Croatia and to Prague with, she was coming in from the other side of the store, and she was like, we need to leave. And I was like, why? We just got here. Like, I'm trying to shop. And she goes, they think you're stealing. I didn't realize that one of the security guards was following me around the store. And I want to say a couple days later, a friend of mine from high school happened to be traveling and studying in Prague for about 2 weeks. And we met up, and I told her, we were talking, and she's a poli-sci major, so she's very big on like the political aspects of cultures. And she was explaining to me, you look like a Roma. And I was like, a Roma? I'm not a gypsy. And she was like, yeah, but think about it. During the Holocaust, they rid of not only the Jews and the disabled, but they got rid of the gypsies, and you look like a gypsy. Gypsies were depicted from all different races, whether they were dark skin, light skin, low class, high class, middle class. Like, you couldn't trust them. And because I was dressed kind of, I don't want to say like American, but like bohemian, I had like a romper on, I had curly hair, they didn't trust me. And I purposely went back into that same gift shop about 2 weeks after that, and I knew the owners were Spanish because every time we walked in, they were playing Spanish music. So, I walk in, I go pick up what I want. Same security guard sitting there following me. I go to the cash register, and the owner was at the register. So she, tries to speak to me in English, and I answered her back in Spanish. And she was like, oh, where are you from? Like, ¿dónde eres? And I was like, oh, España. And she just looked at me. She was like, oh, okay. Because, they look at your ID card to make sure it matches with your credit card. And if it wasn't because I went straight to her for her to check me out at the register, I probably would not have gotten the same treatment. They probably would have told me to leave. They probably would have called the cops. And I think that's something that people take for granted. They don't really research different cultures when they go study abroad. And sometimes they end up in these predicaments where they can't, they might get arrested for something that they're not doing. It's something we just can't control. But here in the United States, we definitely can control it. Talk to management, be like, look, I asked your employee if I could see something, they refused to service me. Can I see this, or can you help me? And more than likely, they will help you, but they're not going to help you if you don't say anything. I've been into retailers asking, hi, are you hiring by chance? Are you accepting applications? And I've been told no, and I've been told yes on several occasions from different retailers. And a lot of the time, the retailer's looking for someone that will brand their company and wear their product. And if you cannot wear their brand or the style of their brand, they more than likely won't hire you. And that's coming from someone who has observed not only employees, my current workplace, but also the type of clientele that they service. You want to market to your clientele something that they're going to wear. Fortunately, my previous retailer that I was employed by did not do their employment and their interviewing process by that. We had a variety of different ethnicities, a variety of different body shapes, and they didn't care. It was just like we were a really great group of women, you know, ages 19. I think the youngest was 18, and all the way up to management, who one of our managers, I think she just turned 40. If she's watching this, I'm sorry, Blair. But, you know, we have such a great personality, a great company, and working there just really kind of made like my experience a lot better. I felt more confident working there because my coworkers didn't care. My clients didn't care. I've had, you know, customer service reports written about me saying that Tamara was a great, you know, she had great customer service. She helped me out. She helped me make this huge purchase because I didn't know what to buy my girlfriend or my daughter for Christmas. These are definitely things that a lot of people take for granted, and you really have to know and understand who you're working for, who your clientele is, and who you're being serviced by. Never have I ever discriminated against a client. I always help someone the same way I would help everybody else. I feel like this. A, it's business. B, it's personality. And C, it's just overall compassion. Like, you have to be passionate for what you're doing. And if you don't do that, you're going to lose sales. So it's kind of obvious that the woman who I was at the jewelry retailer with didn't really, either A, she cared about her job, but she didn't care to sell me a product. But I'm pretty sure after all four of us walked out and she lost that sale, all four sales, she probably felt some type of way. And I just thought it was pretty interesting how you yourself are judged based off of the people that you are with. And I don't think that's fair. Just because I'm walking into a store in jeans and Uggs and North Face doesn't mean I don't have money. Just because I'm walking in wearing a Coach bag into, I don't know, Gucci doesn't mean that I don't have money. Because we definitely spent money in Gucci that could have been spent at the other retailer, but because our employee service spent, our customer, us being the customer, being a valued customer, was appreciated so much more at a different retailer. And I think that's what it really is. Definitely just like pick a retailer that you're interested in, find somewhere that you feel comfortable, and someone that's going to value not only your service, your money, but you as a person. If you don't do that, you definitely will face some type of discrimination. And I think that everybody should really just kind of pay attention out there, and don't be afraid to say something to management. Be like, hey, look, I wanted that, but your employee wouldn't service me. Can you help me? More than likely, if you point it out, they will help you. So, to kind of make a long story short, really just, you know, be considerate. Always, you know, try to be professional. Even if you are the client, always try to keep face. And don't let it get to you. I mean, I definitely should walk in there today and be like, okay, I want those earrings, or I want that watch, and I will more than likely go and purchase it without anybody saying anything. So definitely, it's all about how you approach the situation and how you want to be valued as a customer. So if you have any questions, or have you ever experienced shopping discrimination, definitely leave it in the comments down below, or send me a tweet. Would love to hear your story, because I think it's something that we can all relate to, whether it's here domestically, internationally, or even if you yourself have been an employee somewhere and you witnessed that happening. I think it's really important just to kind of educate everybody. That way they know how to like take care of these types of situations. So again, leave in the comments down below, and I would love to hear from you guys and learn more about your experiences. So until then, I will talk to you guys soon. See you guys in my next video.